You can take in this pond garden at just a glance. Every path invites sublime or whimsical interaction. Of course, you're welcome to just settle back and let ripples of contentment work their spell.
I bought this property in 1991. The kids and I, we came in and there was a pool, and so I wanted a house with a pool. It had nothing in the yard, front or back. It's a full acre, but I just saw a vision when I walked in. So we built a pond about a year after we bought the place, and I started putting in plants, and it just grew from there. And then 4 years ago, Stephen and I talked about, let's build a bigger pond. We started digging, not we, I'm sorry, Stephen, and we hired a couple of guys, and it took 2 weekends.
3 weekends.
By wheelbarrows. We couldn't bring in a backhoe because of the septic tank, and then we did it all ourselves. It's 3 tiers. We have a real large hole in the middle because we knew we wanted koi and they want the deeper water. And then there were some big boulders in there, and that's why it's not perfectly round, but I like that because we wanted it to look natural. And we have a shallow end so the dogs can drink too. We built this pond right before our first grandson was born, Trent, and he's now 5, and we have a younger one, Cullen, he's 3, and they're thrilled to come over. They love to lay on the side and feed the fish. They love water, they love to swim, so they love to get in the pond with their papa, and the fish come up and they get to touch the fish, and it's just really, it's cool. It's not dirty, mucky water, it's really clean. We have a really good filtration system and keeps the water moving to get the oak leaves out and the acorns and things like that. We have lived and learned and keep the bottom clean. And we have all the plants in the bog. That's where our filtration is. Those roots are incredible filters.
Since koi are diggers when they spawn, Jeannie and Stephen protect containerized plants.
When we repot them, we actually put bricks or large rocks in them to deter the fish for not digging in there. And there again, we don't put a lot of plants in our koi ponds because they're such diggers. And a true koi pond doesn't even have plants, just fish. But I love plants.
Amble along the path for a surround sound experience from every angle, or circle around and pick the observation post of your choice. Garden art and ponding unite in an old cowboy bathtub they unearthed in Fredericksburg.
So we brought it home and used it as an ice chest for a couple of years if we had parties, and it was sitting here on the deck, and I thought, no, I want to put plants in it. So he sealed it, and now we keep water in it and plants that anybody comes over and needs a plant, I'll be happy to friend a plant to them, and we keep mosquito fish in them so we don't have to worry about mosquitoes. But I have several galvanized tins that I'll set out, put some dirt or not dirt, and it's real good for on top of a deck or on a back porch or under a tree. You can just do small ponds. You don't have to have a big pond to have beautiful plants and to have a few fish. You could put a few goldfish. So and you don't have to have electricity to a bubbler. You can actually just put a little solar bubbler in it. 5 or 6 years ago, I couldn't get anything to grow here, too many oak trees. I said, let's put a deck. So my son, Corey, and Stephen, they mapped it out.
They skirted it with raised beds framed in ash juniper slats from Stephen's prunings.
I don't like the decks that have lattice work. I said, well, let's just do a raised bed. Okay, and I like to put edibles out here, like kale and lettuce and stuff, so I can come right out of the house and grab it.
A forest-like living wall of perennials and small trees encircles the diverse living rooms. They transition the 2 spaces with a path framed by rummaged old bed frames on one side and Stephen's cedar prunings on the other. He also crafted a mini pergola to support shading vines.
It's her design. It's my back. We got the wood off the land. There's very few screws or nails in it. I primarily tried to use copper wire just for the not wanting to break the wood, and also I think copper patinas. The green is just beautiful.
They bridged the 2 gardens with a small professionally designed pond.
In our small pond, our bog is really mint, and you can just take it off and use it for whatever. We have grasses, so that water is crystal clear all the time because of the filtration it goes through all the plants.
Like the large pond, it attracts birds and all kinds of wildlife to drink, bask, and nestle among its stones. The pool's for the family, including grandkids. Even in the water or at poolside, there's a lot of sensory stimulation from plants to art.
I have several bottle trees, and I have a bunch of green bottles from Buddha beer and then all my blue wine bottles. So I enjoy that, just to give color, like the flamingos. I like spots of color everywhere. When things aren't blooming, I still want color.
In this playful spot, Margaritaville serves up cheer regardless of the weather.
I love Mexico, and we've traveled there several times, so I thought I want it to look like Mexico. So that's why we named it Margaritaville, and we did the bright Mexican colors. And I've made a bench out of our footboard and out of my parents' old granite bar. I'd like to refurbish things. When I see something like my footboard, what can I do with that? Oh, let's make a bench. Stephen, I need a bench made. So I like to make things out of old stuff.
Artist and good friend Vivian Stewart painted the door with birds that Stevens noted in their trees and at the ponds. Throughout the gardens, a memory's attached to every ornament. They're masters at turning fun old finds into yard art.
And I found those screen doors and screens at an old antique store somewhere and paid a little bit of nothing, but I thought, I want to hang something around the shed.
Nursery plant containers went back into service as a trunk of sedums.
We have them placed so I water the top and they drip down.
As members of the Austin Pond Society, they recycle plants too, dividing them to get friends started. They've also honed their skills, rescue gear, and holding tanks for moving fish to new homes.
The Pond Society, we got calls all the time. My fish are too big. My husband passed away. I don't want my pond anymore. What can I do? So I talked it over with Stephen, and so here we go. These are the largest fish we've ever transferred. So today, when we take them out of there, hopefully we won't have a jumper. It could be exciting. We've never done this. And the gentleman that we took them from, I said, they're going to be on TV. I said, hopefully they'll be on TV, because his wife was crying, and yeah, but he said, I take care of them, and I can't take care of them anymore, and so I know.